and I've got a credit card debt of 2,500. I've savings of 2,500, so I could offset that against that, but our little boy is an undiagnosed asthmatic, so I'm afraid if I need money fast for medicine or anything like that, that we need to have the cash there. So I've just let the credit card build up. And then I have an apartment that I bought before I got married, which is rented out, and that covers more or less the mortgage payments. That's my financial situation.
Okay, so you're solvent, but your husband is not solvent.
I'm solvent, my husband is not solvent. Yes.
And how does that affect the family?
It's very edgy at home. About once a week you're guaranteed to have an argument. Our little daughter started shouting money, money, money at us every evening. The kids feel it. We both feel it. A couple of nights ago he slept in the spare room because it got too much for him. It's not good.
That is absolutely heart-wrenching stuff. She seems very financially aware. Perhaps he's less so?
Yeah, I think she comes from, I think, a business background herself. Although she's a PAYE employee, she comes from a business background, and she's well, tuned into how money should be managed and that. And I think it's a situation that's happening across the country where you have families in very, very difficult financial situations, and it's a very unusual situation here where you've got one person is actually solvent and the other person isn't solvent, and he has the idea that he can actually continue to generate business and he can rebuild his business and make money. And of course,
well, unfortunately, that has implications for his partner and his family.
Oh, absolutely! It's a really, really difficult situation. And I mean, you've heard the way she described how her kids are affected by it. She's affected by it. Their own relationship. I mean, they've been together a long time and they get on very well, but they're constantly arguing about money and debts, and it's not an easy one to resolve.
There's another relationship, and that's between him and the bank and his bank. Compared this with Kate a few weeks ago, where the bank was okay, although she couldn't pay her mortgage. The bank in this case is not being supportive. He doesn't seem to have a good relationship with them.
Yeah, I can see it from the bank's point of view as well. I can see both sides here. The bank sees a business which isn't making money and they have a liability to them and they want to get their money back in. I don't like the way in which they sort of put him under pressure to sign that guarantee, and I'd certainly like to hear the bank's side of that story and see, well, was everything done properly? I think before somebody signs a personal guarantee, they should be doing so without being under pressure.
We've a text in here, maybe we'll come to it in a moment. Please explain why banks want to convert overdrafts to term loans. We might come back to that one, but let's just hear Eilish's solution. Eilish's solution is to go to the UK and let him go bankrupt.
I have an option at work where I could request a transfer to one of our UK offices. That means that I get to hold on to my job. It means that in a year's time, when the bankruptcy is declared, that we have the option of moving home again and still me keeping my job.
How does Matthew feel about going to the UK?
He's fighting me on it like tooth and nail. His arguments to me are that later on down the line he won't be able to set up a company again because he won't be allowed to be a director. I don't believe that he should be thinking that way for the moment. I think that he should be thinking of the immediate effects right now on our family is detrimental to our relationship and to us as a whole. And I know that he keeps hoping for this golden goose to land in his lap, but I don't believe it's going to come, and I think he's hoping that it's going to come the next year or two, but I think by that stage that the banks will have called in on everything, and then he's going to be forced, his hand is going to be forced, and he's going to be declared bankrupt in Ireland. And that means the difference between the UK and the Ireland bankruptcy laws is that he's tied to owing monies for up to 12 years, could be longer, whereas within the UK it's done and dusted within a year.
This, of course, was highlighted in the case of Sean Fitzpatrick recently. Just explain how the bankruptcy laws differ here to the laws in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Irish bankruptcy is, as Eilish pointed out, it can take 12 years before you get out of bankruptcy. So that's almost a life sentence, for people. In the UK, you can go and become resident in the UK. You have to have a centre of commercial interests there, or business interests or personal interests, and then you can apply for bankruptcy and you're free after 1 year. It's a very, very clean system in the UK. However, I think she's worrying too much. She thinks that the Bank of Ireland is going to make Matthew bankrupt. The Bank of Ireland has absolutely no interest. There's no advantage to them in making Matthew bankrupt. He has, in total, if you include the guarantee, about 37,000 in debts, and he has no assets. So they have to go to the High Court. It's huge expense. So she doesn't need to worry about him being made bankrupt here in Ireland. I don't think that the debts are sufficient to uproot the family and go to the UK. She has the advantage that she works for a multinational, so she can work in the UK. If they wanted to go to the UK anyway, I'd probably go to the UK and possibly declare bankruptcy. Talk to the bankruptcy advisors over there. But I don't think the situation is so serious. She's solvent. She can continue to feed the family. He just won't have an income. Nothing is going to happen. Like, he's going to be in a sort of stable position for the next few years. If they need to go in a couple of years' time, they could do so. No hurry.
This is the new Ireland. Irish people used to go to England for divorces. Now they may be going to declare themselves bankrupt. We will deal with that, a text about banks converting overdrafts to term loans, on a different occasion. Brendan, thank you very much. That's all from Brendan this week. And we'd like to hear from you about your money stories. You can email us here on the programme at todaypk@rte.ie, or contact Brendan directly at brendan@askaboutmoney.com. And the Money Story slot was an independent production from Clockwork.